Alright. It's Curtis Geffen. We're here on Bolt Banter, and I'm here. Can you hear me?
What's up? How's it going? Bolt up, everyone.
All right. So we have our second preseason game, one and done with the Chargers. And no Rivers this time, but a lot of things to talk about. So, Kendrick, let's see here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. All right. So, sorry, there's a little technical difficulty going on. Palmer and the Cardinals came out firing right away. And I want to hear, Kendrick, your positive and negative points on the Bolts, both offense and defense, from this game.
Yeah. As far as defense goes, starting with that, I thought our rush looked great. Melvin Ingram had 2 sacks. We saw a couple of the younger guys stepping up, 6 sacks in total. The thing to watch for there is that Melvin Ingram had to leave the game with a hand injury. They're going to be monitoring that throughout the week, so we're going to want to keep an eye on that. As far as negatives on the defense, that John Brown touchdown that they gave up, that was horrible. He snuck right past his corner, shreds him, and then gets behind the safeties. And I don't think Weddle was in for that game. I think it was some younger safety, so it definitely shows some weakness there. And we could be a little bit scared about depth there at that safety position. Because I can understand him getting behind the third string safety that's in there for Weddle, but like Adai, that wasn't very good either. I saw him snuck out about to the right. So Brown was basically in front of his corner behind the safeties, and we can't have that, especially when you're that close to the goal line. As far as offense goes, we didn't have a lot of starters playing. We didn't see Phillip Rivers. We didn't see Melvin Gordon. But I thought our run game with Brandon Oliver looked strong. I thought that that fourth-string kid, can't remember his name. He's got kind of a Dreamakiss, maybe. That might be his name.
Yeah, it's a funky name.
Yeah, so he had a pretty good touchdown there. That was pretty cool. So, yeah, I thought the run game looked really strong with Oliver in there. I think Woodhead and Gordon can benefit from it. Honestly, if there was a negative, it's that we didn't get to see the starters, I thought that the spots where it lagged were because Clemens was in there or because, whoever the younger quarterbacks we have that are in there and the younger wide receivers. That's really it. I don't really have a negative for the offense because we didn't get to see a lot of the good guys out there.
Yeah, I agree with that. The offense, there's not much to really pick from in terms of negative. Although the 2 touchdowns for our defense, I thought they're very weak efforts. They're just very frustrating plays to watch break down, especially with the Palmer touchdown. We kind of just were running around everywhere and didn't look like we really knew what was going on. And then, like you were saying, the rush, it was like a 1-yard rush, I think, or something like that, right? Something like that. And yeah, I really didn't like the touchdown pass we gave up right away from Palmer. Palmer looked really into the groove, and it didn't make our secondary look good at all. But our linebackers and stuff came out firing. I think they had like 6 sacks or something like that.
Yep, 6 sacks in total. They were popping. 6 sacks in total.
They were firing away. Yeah, that's really something that I'm really excited and stoked about. Hopefully Ingram is doing well because he was a machine that night. And yeah, there's a lot of positive, more than negative.
Yeah, definitely. I pulled up the list right here. Melvin Ingram, 2 sacks. Nick Zunbar with 1 sack. Jerry Tauchu had a sack. Donald Butler had a sack. And Darius Philon had a sack. That's 3 starters right there. You got Melvin Ingram
Yep.
on one side. You got Jerry Toucher on the other. You got Donald Butler in the middle. I like seeing that. 4 sacks from 3 of our starting linebackers. That's awesome. That's exactly what you want to see out of those guys. Because you factor in there, you still got Corey Leggett coming in. You got Sean Lismore up there in the middle. All kinds of things can happen.
Mm-hmm. Now, we can look at kind of the drives that happened throughout the game. I kind of want to just break it down a little bit to give people an idea of the progress. I know it's only, but it's interesting to look at how each team did at every opportunity. They didn't get too far down the field, and then they decided to punt, I believe. Yep, they punted. Then we got the ball back, had a 3-and-out, punted back drive where Palmer led them down the field. Arizona had with starting with 10 minutes left in the first quarter. And it was a 17-yard pass to Brown. And then we got the ball back again, another 3-and-out, punt. And then they had a 3-and-out. And then we had a 3-and-out. And then they got the ball back and made it for 19-yard line. And then continued. And let's see.
They just kept going after that end of the first quarter, and then they got up to the 10-yard line, and then they just kind of like stopped right there.
Yep. And then they kind of drained out the clock a little bit more at the beginning of the second quarter.
And they kicked a field goal.
Why this isn't showing. Field goal, and then punt again.
Yeah, I've got it pulled up right here. They punted, and then we got a big interception by Cavell Connor there on their next drive, and then that was when Brandon Oliver got that big run, that big 12-yard run, and then the 3-yard run to take us up for a touchdown.
Yep. And that interception was kind of a momentum changer because we didn't really have much going for us, and then
they flipped they flipped the momentum right there, and then you see it when I don't see what it was there. Yeah, when Oliver just came out firing, and then on that extra point, that's where Novak had that missed extra point where it hit off the left tee.
Yep. Okay, you're right. And then Arizona got the ball back and took some time off the clock, punted. We got the ball, and then Lambo made his first field goal. His first, applause. We had to do the same thing, punt, and they punted back. And we're down in the third quarter now, and this time that was where Smith had the touchdown. So we made it down the field. Smith had a 1-yard touchdown. And his name, a tough one to say. So it was 16-9, Chargers ahead. And then a couple 3-and-outs by Chargers and Cardinals. And then Lambo had his second kick, field goal, 19-9 Chargers. And then a long drive, let's see. It was a rush touchdown for the Cardinals. It was 19-16. And then they later responded with a field goal, 19-19. And then we made that drive down the field where Lambo made his game-winning field goal. And that's kind of a recap of everything. Kendrick, do you have anything more to say about this game besides what we've talked about so far?
Yeah, I thought David Johnson, rookie running back. I talked about in our preview show how I thought he was going to have a big game, and he did here. I'm going to pull up the stats right now to see like exactly what he had.
Yeah.
But I was talking about how that was going to be a good test for the run defense. He had 66 yards on 13 carries.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty good for a rookie. So I think there could definitely be a lot of improvement there. I think he got a lot of yards on that drive where they tied the game. He was like they were running the offense through him. So I think definitely something to watch is how they attack our running backs we're going up against.
And just looking at stats now, looking at running backs, besides, I mean, no one really had a fantastic game on our part. They had a couple of running backs had a decent game for the Chargers, but I'm hoping we get to see more of maybe Gordon this upcoming game if we're lucky. And I want to see more of Woodhead too, just because he's been out of the loop. But we had a bunch of names in there, a bunch of players kind of rotating in and out.
McCoy said also that he's got kind of a rotation planned from before the beginning of training camp for how practices go. So it's all about how much they're practicing, how much game time they're going to be getting. And it sounds like we're going to see a different batch of starters missing this week's game. So it'll be a mixed bag for the next preseason game for sure.
It will be. And, I don't know too much about Smith really or Herndon, but the other guys we've seen before. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how it plays out. And let's go and do our next subject. I think we've talked about the game enough now. So
really quickly,
yeah,
shout out to Donald Brown. Shout out to Donald Brown. I don't know where you're at. There's APB out for you as a Charger, but you're out there somewhere, man. I'm looking for you. Every game, I'm looking for you on the sideline. I can't see you, but you're out there somewhere.
Well said. Well said. All right. And so McCoy at the press conference today announced that Rivers would be playing in the preseason game. I don't believe he specified for how long or how many snaps or what, but we'll be seeing Rivers this game. We didn't see him against Arizona. So that's exciting. Warming him up for the regular season.
I think one drive. I think we'll see him for one drive. I think if they get one positive drive, that'll be it for him.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if it's a negative drive, maybe if he doesn't like what he's looking at, he might go out there again. But I think one solid drive out of him. You see Gordon out there. We finally get to see Stevie Johnson getting some action, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Because he didn't get any or not much last game, I think.
No, he did it. He's the Chargers' little secret. We hear about him in training camp. We hear about him in the papers. He's the myth.
He's the myth.
Stevie Johnson is literally becoming the man, the myth, the legend of this receiving core.
He's becoming the dark horse.
The little Chargers aliens. He's the alien we never see.
Not yet. All right. And also we heard or saw how Inman got his concussion, which could be it is a dent to the depth of the Chargers receiving core. And Inman is just one of those guys who, you pick him up from who knows where. I think he was from CFL. And then
he is from the CFL, yeah.
He made a couple plays last year where his name finally was heard. And now he's kind of just in the core of the receiving core. But he's been around, which is always a good thing. And now he's dealing with the concussion stuff. I'm hoping it's not too bad, but all we really know is he's being evaluated at the moment. And McCoy's press conference this morning, it sounded like it was a minor concussion, that they were going to hopefully see him back out on the field on Wednesday, depending on how he responded to tests yesterday. Or tomorrow, I'm sorry. Yeah. So depending on how he looks tomorrow, we might see him back on the field on Wednesday. It doesn't sound like it's too bad. So hopefully we'll see him out there soon. That's good. And Nick Novak, he missed the field goal, but then I read something about him feeling a little soreness or something, but I don't think it wasn't anything about his injury or any injury really. I think he was just a little worn. He was talking about how he practiced for 3 days straight, kicking field goals and stuff like that. But
I think he had some tightness or something, maybe. Something that was tightening up because he wasn't getting loose as he wanted to be.
but everyone freaked out when he wasn't there. And then I don't know what to call him. I don't know what nickname he has now, but the Bo or whatever you want to call him came out and took care of business.
Lambeau Field.
Lambeau Field.
Lambeau incarnate himself.
Mm-hmm. Lambeau back. Yeah, so that's been a cool thing that we've seen kind of develop, and everyone in the media is just blowing up about Lambeau, and probably just because there's not too much else to talk about with the Chargers. But it's a cool little competition between Novak and Lambeau. What do you think about that little rivalry and that little competition between our kickers?
I think it's being played up a lot for sure. I think it's definitely slow news coming out of the Chargers. Not a lot to talk about, but it is interesting. Novak, one of the most dependable kickers. I think last year, I think he missed like one field goal and no extra points last year. I think he's like his percentage is like right on target, especially for career. But you got to give it to Lambeau. I don't think I've seen a kick that he's kicked off get returned. I think every kick has been a touchback. I think he's kicked every single one out of the end zone. And I think all 3 kicks he had were clutch. I read a great piece where it talked about how every angle he was kicking from on those field goals was different. So we got to see a little bit of different kicking situations for him in game. We saw that one right at the end of the second quarter, and then that one at the end of the game. And then there was one, I think Mike Cypher said, where he didn't even communicate with him about how the kick was going to be held or anything. He just kicked it. It was like that 49-yard field goal right at the middle there. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was really interesting. I definitely think Lambeau is going to be a starting kicker. I don't think it's going to be with the Chargers. I think Novak's going to win it out. But I think it definitely builds up hype for the kid in his career. I think we might see him somewhere else.
Yeah.
Especially if it's going to be anywhere, it's going to be in Pittsburgh. If Pittsburgh lost their kicker the first game.
Yeah, so, that's a doozy.
Yep, I think he's a good young kicker. I don't think it's the last we'll hear of him, but you never know, man. He might edge out Novak. I don't think he will. I don't want him to because I love Novak, but we'll see.
Same. I feel the same way. I think Novak is going to be around for a while, hopefully, but I think it's not a bad thing to have a young kicker who's very, very talented at what he does around to keep Novak on his toes and push Novak maybe to the next level, because you know how this game goes where it's, the next day could be your last day and the new guy could take over, But I think it'll be a cool atmosphere to just Novak has already been playing at a top level, but to ensure that he is continuing to play at the next level, because if he doesn't, there's another guy there to take his spot.
Yeah, and hearing about kicking competition is a lot better than hearing speculation on a new stadium.
Yeah. I think everyone and their mom and their grandma is tired of hearing that. At least from what I've heard.
Absolutely.
And talking about stadium, I mean, I really haven't heard any other updates going on. All I can really, I guess, assess from the San Diego stadium effort is that the Rams are continuing to push forward and making moves to LA. How that affects San Diego, that's up to you. But I'm also tired. I saw a bunch of articles and stuff about people saying how there's some hypothetical theory where the Raiders end up in San Diego, and it was just the stupidest
I was about to tell you. I saw an article this morning from 92.5 FM where they posted a poll about the Raiders and about the Chargers going to LA and the Raiders going to San Diego. Where's this coming from?
I don't know who made up this idea.
The Raiders are going to Chicago. Oh, what? What? No way. I can't believe it.
It's just they have nothing else to talk about. So
Hawaii? What? Hawaii? No way. I heard a guy talking to a guy.
London Raiders.
He said Derek Carr was getting some surf going in Oahu. He's looking at
London Raiders. The Raiders. The London Raiders.
Maybe they can become a soccer team after the football hopes go down.
They might have a better chance that way. Actually, they're not looking too bad, but my point is it's kind of ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. I think I don't know who made up that story, but good for them because
I
they made
think
up one of the most ridiculous stories of the year.
someone just wanted to blow up on social media and everywhere, so they probably just threw that idea out there. But that is a very stupid idea. There's no way. No way.
No, I don't. I don't know who made that up, but
Very dumb.
good for you making up a good rumor, man. Holy crap!
I mean, if you think about it this way, if Chargers are going to go to LA and Oakland's going to come down to San Diego, why not just put Oakland in LA and Chargers can stay in San Diego, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because I think in that rumor they said that the Chargers were going to share a stadium with the Rams. They weren't going to build one.
I don't like that rumor.
I heard another tidbit that someone was saying about how people are starting to pity Carson because they're getting led on,
Oh,
and
yep.
like people are talking about how like if there's no football team in Carson, then like the mayor of Carson needs to be run out of town, and then the city council needs to be all torn apart.
Wow.
Because they got led on.
Extreme. I think they are getting led on in a lot of ways. For all we know, this could be some scheme. Maybe.
I think it is definitely,
Yeah.
but like the way the chirping that's going on that people are talking about it, I find it very interesting.
It could almost just be a scheme to get more fans in LA for the Chargers and then just stay anyway. Who knows? But yeah, there's nothing really new about the stadium efforts. All right. Well, actually, on that stadium note, I read a cool article from UT. I think it came out yesterday. It was talking about how the Chargers, if they do leave LA, they should not take the name Chargers with them, which I thought was very interesting. So I kind of like that, but I have a feeling if they were to leave, knock on wood, I hope they don't. But if they were to leave, they would just keep their name.
Yeah, I don't know why you would, especially nowadays with your branding and all that. You change your team name, you got to change all your social media. You got to get a new domain. You got to come on now, come on.
Yeah, they keep it, but
it's tough to find a name out there.
As a San Diegan, I would probably say
that one up early. Nobody's getting that.
Yeah, as a San Diegan, I would like for them to change their name, but I don't want them to leave, so I don't even want to think about that. So
nope. Because then you're going to have the Jacksonville Jaguars swoop down here, and they're going to take the San Diego Chargers name. That's not the Jaguars. I'm sorry. Blake Bortles and TJ Yeldon and those kids. Sorry. It's not allowed.
Oh, man. All right. Well, I think that's all we really have to cover today. We'll be back either Thursday or Friday. We haven't decided yet, but we will be back Thursday or Friday. It's looking like Friday. We'll keep you updated. Thanks for tuning in, guys. My name is Curtis Gaffram. Follow us at Bolt Banter, one word, at Bolt Banter on Twitter. Find us on YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah, have a good one, guys. Follow me on Twitter, Kendrick Luck, for all my musings about sports and life and all that. And hopefully we'll see you Friday.
Alrighty, folks. Thanks for tuning in, and have a good day, and bolt up.
Bolt up, baby.
Bolt up.